Hi, Chef Carolina Diaz.
Hello.
Okay, so we're ready to cook some pasta.
Yes.
But before we do pasta, you're going to do a raw salad.
Yes.
As opposed to a cooked salad.
There are cooked shrimp in this, but this salad, although it does not have a pasta component to it or any pasta involved, I like this salad that complements this pasta dish I'm going to make because it reminds me of Southern Italy. It reminds me of like Sicily, and all the ingredients are very specific. So it goes hand in hand. So
I'm going to ask a cheeky question because you just gave me an opener. You won the Barilla World Championship Pasta Competition in 2018.
yes,
Competing against 17 other chefs of international origins and great training.
yes,
So you got street cred.
yeah. I hope so.
You're American born and lived your whole life here.
Yep.
Your heritage is Mexican. What gives you the right to cook authentic Italian dishes in that tradition? And I'm saying like it's okay with me, but I love to ask this question to all chefs when they are cooking, you know, along these different paths. When you have like such a codified, steeped in tradition, I mean,
Yeah.
it goes way back.
Yes.
Culinary traditions such as Italian. How do you like? What gives you the right? How do you manage that?
You know, and I appreciate you asking it that way. What gives you the right? Because for so long, when I was starting cooking Italian food, I thought of that myself. What gives me the right? But I'm so intrigued. The flavors, the components, the ingredients are so different from anything that I've seen, and that's what really like pulled me in. And once I figured out, you know, there's pistachios, there's these olives, there's fennel, and how do these things tie in, I started doing my research. So it's not like I'm reading it somewhere and I'm just coming up with my own recipes. I put in the work.
Yeah.
So if I put in the work, you know, I think it gives me the right to serve this food. So,
While you cook, I'm going to keep asking more questions,
Yeah.
but I don't want to stop you. So what are the first steps?
perfect. So the first thing we're going to do, we do have poached shrimp in this dish, so we're going to get that started. And we started off everything cold. So we're going to do a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil.
A little bit.
A little bit, you know.
That's a whole. Well, how much
bit.
is that? Half a quart, maybe?
That was about a quart.
Yeah, about a quart. Okay.
And then we do some shrimp.
Some shrimp.
Cold.
Okay. Any specific types of shrimp?
I do 2125 peeled, deveined, ready to go. Don't even mess with it. But if you can get your hands on some like larger prawns,
Okay.
that's beautiful.
A little chili powder.
Crushed red pepper.
Or red
I do
pepper,
a lot
excuse me.
because I love it. Mustard seeds. It gives it a little bit of tang. And fennel seeds.
Okay. And these are all like. This is about maybe a tablespoon, right?
Yeah.
Like I've learned a measure of sea salt. The middle of my hand is a tablespoon. So if I was, yeah, okay, because that's how the Italian aunts and uncles, grandmothers and grandfathers measure.
By hand.
Yeah.
A handful.
They do not have all these little deli containers laid out for
No,
them.
they don't. No, they
No.
don't.
So some heat and some stirring, and let's get back to the what gives you the right, because I believe obviously you have the right. Just as well, sure. Just as let's use French cuisine, totally codified, totally specific.
Yep.
In the 70s, all the French restaurants in New York, the Lays and the Laws, had French chefs cooking in them that could make more money cooking in America than they could in Paris or Lyon or what have you.
Yep.
But the real innovations in French cuisine were by American chefs who trained under those French chefs,
Yes.
who had a slightly different paradigm, but a great respect for the cuisine.
Yep.
And I would argue the same damn thing happened with Italian cuisine.
Yes.
Bada bing, Carolina Diaz.
Exactly.
So when you competed in the Barilla competition and the chef said, the Michelin star chef said, this tastes like America or smells like America?
Smells
like America. Give me some of the reasons why she or he said that.
I think he said that because in his eyes, it wasn't authentic. He knew it.
Oh.
I knew it. I wasn't trying to serve authentic or my version of or my take on. I was serving pasta as a Mexican American woman. And
But
that's
it wasn't a slight when he said that, was it?
No.
No, it was a compliment.
I didn't know for sure, but as he started explaining, that's exactly what he meant. We're a melting pot, and the world is starting to become that, not just America, not just Italy. The influence is everywhere. And, when he said that, I was nervous, but he explained that it was more because you can tell that there was influence. And now where the heck in the world is there not influence? It's everywhere.
My favorite story or example of that is the American expats who were working for corporations in Beijing and were craving American Chinese food. They could get Chinese food, they could get American franchise food, but they couldn't get Chinese American food.
Yeah.
So they opened up a restaurant that, to the best of my knowledge, is still successful. I don't know where in the pandemic, but up until that, because there's a lot of Americans that are living in Beijing working for corporations that wanted their General Tso's chicken. They wanted their sweet and sour pork. They wanted their, and so they want their corn syrup, ketchup, fakakta flavorings that make those things.
It exists.
That was ingredients that the ethnic Chinese who came to America, they couldn't get the preferred spices, so they made do with these other things.
It's a thing, this Italian-American cuisine, it's a thing. It exists in America, not in Italy. They would probably think it's a disgrace, but it's an American thing.
Yeah.
It's an American thing, and we can't discredit that. We can't pretend it doesn't exist. It exists. There's a market for it, and you can do it very well. I don't do it. I actually do the research.
You do the research. Do you need to go to Italy to cook your food? Did you need to go to Italy to find your voice or cook your food?
No, but when I went, I realized that I have a right because it compared. I ate food that was like, this is similar to mine.
Yeah.
I've never been here. I've done a ton of research. I actually put the time in, made phone calls to people, figured out what the actual recipe was. But it gave me the right because it compared.
Yeah, cool.
So I think at the end of the day, maybe, I needed to go to kind of prove it to myself.
Did you go with expectations or did you come back with disappointments?
I went back with a disappointment to realize that not a lot of people put as much heart into their cooking as I did. And these are chefs. Chefs, accomplished chefs. And I realized that we're cooking. It's not about, you came from a Michelin star restaurant, and it's not, it's about what can you cook? Who are you? Who are you, the individual, and how can I see it in your food? And I don't think I saw that very much there. That was the only disappointment I got to say.
You're like Bill Buford, who finally discovered amazingly good French bread at one bakery in Lyon. And he says in his book, the truth is, there really isn't that great of bread in France anymore.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard to find a good baguette in France.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the food is amazing, and it doesn't compare to what we have here. But you can find individuals that will cook Italian food the right way. And it's kind of, the more research I do and the more kitchens I go into that cook Italian, I'm finding that there's more immigrants in the kitchens.
Oh, yeah.
Cooking. So who's cooking your authentic Italian food?
My late friend Josh Ozersky, who was the food editor for Esquire, and before that, very involved in New York for Eater and things like that, he told me that, and he proved it to me actually across 3 meals in one night, which was really exhausting, that the best Italian food in New York at the time, with the exception of the Torrisi boys, was being cooked by Albanians and Mexicans.
Yeah.
Because these were restaurants he'd written about, so it was like, let's go back into the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I went, there is not, the only Italian person is the, in one case, the female that greeted me at the door.
Yeah, the face.
The face.
The face.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the heart and soul, it's people that are taking those jobs. The kitchen's not comfortable.
So did you poach these? I'm just going to get back to the recipe.
I am.
Did you poach those in olive oil and seasoning, basically?
And it went really fast, so you kind of have to keep stirring and keep an eye on it. As soon as they start turning white and curling, then I just take them out. And they got all their flavor from
all the seasonings.
And the oil. And it doesn't require any salt. It actually makes the shrimp a little sweeter and delicious. So
cool.
There you go. I'm just going to take them out so they can stop
The
cooking.
seasonings kind of reminded me of bagna cauda, if you...
Yes.
What you put in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
For
it
those
doesn't
of you
have
who
a-
don't know what bagna cauda is, it's the totally indulgent, so not good for you. Try to make it better by dunking vegetables in.
Yes.
Italian soul food. It's just this rich olive oil roux of seasonings that then you dunk in a vegetable and you just go and eat it. And it's, oh my God. It'll cure you and kill you in all the best ways.
Tons of anchovies.
Yeah.
But this, we skipped the anchovies, so you can still be on your date comfortably.
So what are you sprinkling on top?
So we've cut all the oranges. They're, citrus season right now. Mm-hmm. All these are beautiful. So we have kumquats for tartness.
Okay.
Some navel oranges on here.
It's a kumquat theme. Diane Mua made kumquat desserts too.
Yeah, it's a beautiful ingredient.
Yeah.
Underrated.
Looks like little oranges and big oranges, actually.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a little mosaic of oranges. This is super, super simple. And then we take some cara, a little sweeter, look beautiful. Their season's about to end, but they're still in great shape. And this dish, it's just the beginning course, the salad. So this will feed up to 4 people. But you just want to put it in just however it lands.
So when you went to Italy and were investigating cuisine, was there anything that just blew your mind, like, oh, I wish I'd known, or I can't believe they do that, or, why would they ever do it that way, or something like that?
The one thing that surprised me, I have to say, was that the Italian judges that were there, they were chefs and food connoisseurs, they were looking for, the chefs that went there were making foams and all this stuff. And every time they made it, they kept just knocking it down, and this is not good enough, this is not good enough. I was like, wow, they want a higher level than that.
So you've got celeriac root?
That's fennel.
Fennel, oh, I'm sorry. And the old guard celeriac root. And olives.
Olives.
And pistachios.
Yes.
Okay.
These are not just any olives, they're the Castelvolturno olives, and these have such a meaty mildness to them that just complements the oranges so well.
Okay, go on with your story. Sorry. No.
So-
Just keeping track of the ingredients.
And they, they just kept on shutting down all of their foams and their smears and they just wanted simple pasta, simple pasta.
And did you realize this real time while you were there?
No, it wasn't until like my 3rd round that I was like, shoot, because I kept on looking over like I don't have enough stuff on my plate.
Oh.
It's not coming together.
But you were cooking simple pastas.
I was, because I talked to Chef Tony and he said, do what we do.
Do what we do.
So
All right, so a little olive oil with
Yes.
the king of the olives, the pistachios, and the fennel.
Yes,
And you're tossing it around.
just tossing it around.
And what did you sprinkle over the shrimpy shrimps over there?
A little bit of parsley.
Okay.
Just a tiny bit for freshness. So this, just let it fall where it may. Again, this is the easiest thing
Very
to...
rustic is what they call this.
Yes.
Let it fall where it may is
Let it
also
fall
very
where it may.
rustic.
By this time, you can serve the shrimp cold, let it cool off a little bit. So if you want to make it ahead of
It's like
time,
the Julia Child pivot. And if the shrimp is cold, it's not
Serve
a
it.
problem.
at least it's not flying across the room.
It's supposed to be hot, but it's fine.
Exactly. Yeah, it'll be fine. And then, the last and final piece. Just toss my shrimp. And again, let it lie where it may. There's no science to this, no...
Just gonna. Oh, they're
Yeah.
still warm.
They're still warm.
Very subtle.
Right? It's the olive oil that does it.
I would have thought that the seasonings you put in would have come through with more harsh / brightness. It's very
Super
subtle.
It complements the shrimp very well. So just laying that down. And then a few fennel fronds because they pack so much flavor, plus they look gorgeous on the plate.
Yeah.
Just to make it look finished.
So is this a terzo piano dish?
It is.
Okay.
We serve this.
Not the dish, but the dish.
Exactly.
Got it.
The salad, and it's it's killer. It's
And-
everything you want. Refreshing, salty, sweet. It touches on everything.
For everyone that doesn't know, what does, terzo piano mean?
3rd floor. And it actually is the last name of the designer. His last name.
Yeah, Renzo.
Yeah.
Renzo Piano.
Yep. So it's kind of,
Yeah.
I love that place. I don't know
He
if,
did the last best addition to the Art Institute, in my opinion.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really,
we just celebrated our 10-year,
really masterful.
last year. the year before that. So, and then this is onion ash. So it's just dehydrated onion.
Like everyone has.
The onion peel. You just pop it in the oven, let it go low and slow. And I like to cover just 1/2 for aesthetics. You can cover the whole thing, but it adds
sort of a yin and yang.
Yeah. It adds a smoky.
That's why you're so accomplished and famous for these
balance.
crazy moves.
It's all balanced.
Uh-huh.
So you get one portion where you get to see what it looked like, and the other one's
Sort
a
of-
little bit dressed.
Has anyone ever sent it back and say, 1/2's a little dirty?
No.
I think something happened.
Something spilled on my plate.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, that's the dish. It's a salad.
That's beautiful. Can we put it up here?
Yeah, of course.
You know what? We'll put it right here. How gorgeous.
Thank you. Very simple, feeds 4 people.
Yeah.
Very light, right before the pasta dish.
Great starter.
Yeah,
Yeah. And if citrus is in season, sweet.
beautiful.
Beautiful. All right. So you got this olive oil mixture seasoned. You got pasta water going.
Yes.
And now we move on to see if you're really worth what the Barilla people said you were.
I hope so.
No pressure here in Madison, Wisconsin.
Exactly. No, so the next dish is my squidding pasta with a very simple roasted red pepper sauce. And then the final amazing piece is raw tuna that's been lightly dressed. And all these ingredients come together to make this dish sing. So this is a dish that smells like America.
I know what that is.
Yes.
For pasta water. Very large pan. I'm presuming some tomatoes are going to go in here.
Yes.
And many other things.
Yeah.
So you're going to create pasta, you're going to roll it out, and then you're going to put it in the water.
Yes.
All in this demo.
All in this demo.
That would just boggle my mind at home. Like with the number of things going on in my house, I'd be like, there's no way that I'm attempting that, this, and that.
I mean, so you have to be able to take a risk in order to cook and to eat, the way you want to and the way you deserve. Sometimes you deserve to eat this way, and you have to take the time. You have to take the time. So pasta, although
I'm gonna spray paint that on my kitchen wall. Yeah.
the way you deserve
And I'm
to
gonna
eat.
look at my wife some days. I'm taking a risk, baby. We're not gonna eat until 9:30, but
No, I mean, it seems like a lot, but pasta's really easy to make. Honestly, it's really
says
easy to make.
the world champion of 2018.
So we'll get started.
Yeah.
We're gonna start first with our sauce. I'm gonna get that going and then start our pasta because we gotta let it rest at some point.
Sure.
So I'm gonna start with a little bit of
Always
olive
build
oil.
the sauce first, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then just kind of let it go nice and slow while you're making your pasta.
Ooh, are you one of the chefs of Italian cuisine that think that the French got all their inspiration from the Italians?
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, go in there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course. If you look at technique, and not only technique, ingredient,
Uh-huh.
I mean, who's to say that they didn't, right?
A lot of people say that they didn't, but history is beginning to show that
did.
a lot
They
of
did.
things came from the Italians first.
I think they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not because I'm biased, but.
Right. Right.
So I'm adding aromatics. I got garlic, a lot of crushed red pepper because I love it.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of sage, onion.
When you learn about trade routes and the way that people transferred knowledge, it makes damn good sense
Yes.
that the French got their moves both in pastry and others from the Italians.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one thing that I see that's so evident is in their sauce making. I don't make an Italian sauce without thinking of, French sauce making is very different than Italian. The principle's there, though. The principle is there. The ingredients are there. And that is where it overlaps. And that's where you can see, after the trade route, you can see where the influence was. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm always like, this is where you can see where it overlaps.
Just echoes forward. I have to say, this is a made-for-television pan. This full rail pan is beautiful. Like, it's gorgeous, stainless, lovely handle. It's just, this is a made-for-TV pan.
It is, and you know what? Not even just made for TV, made for restaurants. These pans are the only ones where the secret to not getting your sauce to burn is to use the right pan. You got to let it heat up, then put your oil in, let that heat up, and then nothing will stick to it. And only Volrath pans are the only ones that do that for me.
I didn't know that. I believe it, but I didn't know that. Again, got to have good equipment.
Oh yeah. So I'm just going to let that go nice, slow and slow.
So you're sweating them or browning them?
Just sweating them.
Okay, little wine.
A little bit of wine at this point.
Uh-huh.
Let that evaporate, nice and slow.
So at your right elbow, there is a medium-sized deli container half full of squid ink.
Yes.
How many squids does it take to get that much ink?
You get about, I want to say 3 ounces of squid ink per squid.
And who does the squeezing?
It's usually, the prep guy or the guy who came in late to the
Seriously?
restaurant.
That's a job at the restaurant?
Yes.
Oh
They'll
my
do the
God,
squeezing.
I want to be there where someone just can't find parking and they show up like, I got the squid. I got it, I got the squid.
And you'll know because they'll walk out with their apron super, super black, like, oh, you were late to work today.
So when I was in college and working at what I thought at the time was a fancy pants Italian restaurant, later I knew differently. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't fancy pants. One of the moves was to do a checkerboard squid ink ravioli dish. So white raviolo, squid ink raviolo, in a checkerboard in a sea of red sauce.
Jeez.
And I was like, wow. This kid from Waukesha who grew up on Chef Boyardee has never seen anything like that before.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It's, and it's tricky too working with squid ink because it gets everywhere. So if you're doing a checkerboard, I feel for you.
So I have to think, there's a lot of amazing things in cooking, but somebody somewhere looked at a squid and said, if we squeeze the ink out of that thing, first of all, that's a defensive mechanism. Wonder what that would taste like. And then 2, why don't I turn it into a pasta? Like, my mind goes to some strange places, but it's never arrived there. So you're doing the mountain of what kind of flour, what kind of cornmeal?
I have a little bit of farina flour,
Okay.
double O, because it's very, very fine.
Yep.
And I have a little bit of semolina also in there.
Look at the confidence.
The eggs.
You're just pouring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 eggs and then a whole bunch of yolks.
Of yolks, yeah.
What is that, like 8, 10 yolks?
That's 6 yolks.
6
Sorry,
yolks.
12 yolks and 6 eggs. So it's a lot of eggs.
So we got a lot of fats going.
Yes.
And then a little bit of the proteins and some really good flour and cornmeal, right?
Semolina.
Semolina, right.
Yeah. And then we're just going to whisk the eggs, start incorporating, but not until we get a smooth egg consistency. Mm-hmm. We're going to add the oil. This allows for lubrication in your pasta, elasticity.
So if I were Tony Mantuano standing right next to you,
Oh, God.
would that be so
No
would this be
pressure.
so nerve-wracking?
No, he's such a chill guy. The pressure would be on, but he wouldn't let me feel it at all. He'd probably be talking, serving a glass of wine.
Well, undoubtedly, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then we just start kind of working the outside of the flour into our little well and whisking.
So the last time I talked to him, you'll laugh, it was I noted that it was about 3 o'clock, and I said, this is great, thanks for catching up. And when we hang up, I want you to tell Kathy that it's my orders that you should go have a good glass of Barolo. And he said, okay, and he just hung up.
And
It was no goodbye, it was okay, and click. And I'm off to that.
yeah. They're the best people ever.
How long did it take you to learn to work the egg oil in with the flour? Because you can speed it up, you can overwork it, you can get this wrong a lot of times.
Yeah,
and then it's just a mess.
I'm not going to lie to you. I got it wrong a lot when I first started making pasta. And it was kind of like, what do I add? Did I add too much egg? Did I add too much flour? Did I add it in at the wrong time? Mm-hmm. So it took me a while to get the hang of it, but once you get it, you know what you're feeling for.
It's like making bread.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So as you can see, like this is really thick now. So
Yeah.
I'm in a good place. I know I'm doing good.
Yeah.
But this happens to be squid ink pasta. So at this point, once I get this pretty pasty, and I just got to check my onions over there. They're looking good.
They're still there?
They're still there. I hope so. So now that this is pretty pasty, I'm going to add my squid ink. And this is where it gets messy. This is where, you know, you want to bring in the guy that came in last.
Wait, I got to GoPro this because we need close-ups of this.
Do you smell that? Can you smell the squid ink from here?
Can I? Yeah. Does the Pope wear pointy shoes?
Ready?
Uh-huh. Coming around.
So it'll be slow going. This thing
Okay.
is pretty pasty. But you need quite a bit.
I've never worked with squid. I've never seen it up close.
It's so good. You can taste it now if you want to in this form.
Sure.
So you'll be tasting for a little bit of saltiness, brininess, fishiness. Your teeth are probably all black
little
right
bit?
now.
Are they all black?
Yes, they are.
Awesome. Awesome. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Oh, but it gives such a beautiful pasta
Look at that.
dough.
It's like a Milky Way design.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice work.
So you keep bringing in your flour. And if you're at home and you got, you know, people watching you, just put them to work. Like, stop watching me.
So if it gets, is there a point where you would have surpassed and it's too late to put in the squid ink?
Yes. So once you start kneading the actual pasta dough in a dough forms, then it's going to be so hard to incorporate. So you want to add it to your liquid.
Yeah.
So at this point, we're doing good. And look how black that is. I
Look
mean,
at
it's
how
just-
black, well, surprisingly, it's like black as a black hole in there. It's as black can get.
It just makes you appreciate. So, I mean, squid taken right out of the sea, you can grill it, you know, seaside, and it's the most simplest thing you can get in southern Italy. And it kind of reminds you that you don't have to get so extravagant in your restaurant. Simple ingredients go a long way. So, very careful with that. Everything will start turning black. And then you just kind of want to start working your dough.
So you call it a dough.
Yes.
It's not pasta yet.
Not yet.
In your mind, it's a dough.
Not yet, because it could still betray me. And I say this because it has.
This is Shakespearean. It's at that level. You could still betray me, Iago. This could still go black.
You could it can definitely still betray me. So, I mean, depending on like how humid it is outside, or
right.
All of these things matter. Let me start getting my spoon. I'm going to finish this sauce off. Got some good caramelization going. Oh, that smells so good.
It does. It really smells wonderful.
A little bit of the sweetness from the onions. It smells spicy. So I'm going to add roasted red pepper to this.
Okay. Couple of cups.
Yeah.
Couple, 3 maybe.
I would say 3 of roasted and peeled already. Peeled tomatoes. And this is quite a bit, so I don't want it to splash.
So tell me about these tomatoes, because I know your mentors are very specific about their tomatoes, and thus you are very specific about your tomatoes.
Yes, so these are San Marzano tomatoes, specifically from that region. A lot of people call peeled tomatoes that have this shape San Marzano, and they're not.
It's not, yeah.
Specifically from that region, certified. If not, then just call them peeled tomatoes, that's
Right.
all. That's all
And the
we ask.
Italians, more than anybody else I know, have ruled the certification game to their point of detriment
Yes.
in a
Yes.
major way. But there's certain things that you really truly can trust. Like if it has that DOC on it,
Yes.
then it is the real thing.
I mean, but to their own detriment, but to their own salvation, because you want these ingredients to last for a really long time and to be able to tell a story. So I added my tomatoes. At this point, the tomatoes are already cooked. I'm just looking to marry all my ingredients.
So a little bit of cream, because you're in Wisconsin.
Exactly.
You passed over the cheese curtain.
A little bit of cream.
Yeah. Yeah.
Typically, you don't serve cream with seafood, but this dish, I'm telling you, it goes so well together.
I'm going to believe you. I believe you.
I'm just letting it hang out at this point. everything married together, and then I can continue with my pasta.
So usually no cream with seafood, usually white wine with seafood, red
Yes.
with beef.
Yeah.
My favorite New Yorker cartoon of all time is where a cow and a fish are sitting down at a restaurant and the waiter walks up and says, now remind me, who gets the white and who gets the red?
Yeah. That would be me and my fiance, actually.
So leaving it like that, was there any benefit to sort of letting it rest in a way, or does that not matter?
It doesn't matter, just so that my onions wouldn't burn.
Okay.
But
yeah.
no, it doesn't. We want to let it rest after we form the dough. After we get pasta, then you want to let it rest.
Right. That's why I asked, because I knew there was a point, but I didn't know if with squid ink, it was important to rest it along the way.
No, not necessarily. Once it comes together, we want to have it relax.
Mm-hmm.
So
is that together? Because it's not fully mixed, as I can tell, but it's pretty black. But is that together for you?
not yet.
No, okay.
This is where you have to call your oldest son or your husband into the kitchen to help you, but it's just the kneading portion at this point. And as you can see, it's all coming together. The middle is a little bit wet, but and if you need to add flour, go ahead.
So this is just another night for you where you're cooking for your family at home. You're making squid ink pasta, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, you could do a lot of things with this
I don't
raviolis.
want to shop at Whole Foods with you because I don't know how much you're spending there, but jeezy, crazy.
And this isn't so hard to make. You know, we made it in like 5 minutes.
Well, true, and actually the squid ink is the most expensive ingredient there. Everything
Yes.
else is pretty straightforward. The semolina a little bit more expensive and things like that. The 00 flour, but nothing too crazy.
No, and it didn't take.
Wow, look at that. It looks like a
adding-
big charcoal stone.
Yeah. Adding the squid ink, I mean, it took nothing. It took literally just adding it. So why not jazz up your pasta with a little bit of special ingredients? So I'm just going to work this in. I can feel it's a little wet.
So more flour.
A little bit more.
And how long did it take you to get that point where you could feel it was a little wet, where you knew? Because it looked done to me.
Yeah, like 3 minutes, but I can tell it's sticking to my hands.
No, how many years, I mean, like life experience.
To actually feel it.
Yeah, to really know by feel.
I think like 2 years, where I can say this isn't done. This will need this. This is going to cook this way. If I let it go and I just don't add the flour.
So in the Italian pasta kitchen, instead of in a typical kitchen where it's chefs are being handed spoons and saying, "Chef, taste this."
Yes.
It's more like, "Chef, come here and feel this."
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Cool.
kind of like, you know, anybody can need this. You can need this, but you need somebody to tell you, you know what, you need a little bit more flour. And I think that's where the experience comes in.
Absolutely.
So, and muscle at this point.
Yeah.
So we're almost there. And it doesn't really matter. I can feel its perfect consistency now. And I just want a smooth ball.
Okay.
Just from kneading,
Well, then why do you keep messing with it?
It's not smooth yet. This is why I tell you, it can still betray me. But I just added the flour, so maybe 1 more minute of kneading, and we're there.
Every time I do any baking, pasta, anything segment, I want the rest of the world to know how much energy used to go into making pasta and bread.
Oh.
People just don't appreciate with these automatic Vorath mixers that do the work for you,
No.
or even your humble KitchenAid at home.
Right.
Like, it's just so much easier.
You know, and when you go to Italy, you see these people. We got a chance to see when we went on a specialized tour, but you get to see these, you know, older ladies just making pasta like it's nothing.
Popeye forearms?
Yeah, exactly. You know, and their hands are like,
Yeah.
and nothing compares to that. No machinery will ever compare to that, to that feel.
It's the same as bread. When people are shaping loaves and things like that, it's this different, it comes out, the crust and the crumb are totally different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, we're looking good. It's black throughout. I don't see any more white specks here.
Okay.
So looking very good. Just want to
That
shake
looks
it.
like one really awful bowl. Like
Yeah.
totally burned.
Exactly.
Oh my God, you just
And
ruined
shriveled.
that bowl. All right, so now we rest it?
Yeah, we rested for about, ideally you want to give it 20 minutes.
What are you doing, keeping the moisture in with that towel, or what are you doing?
Yes, I don't want it to dry out or else it'll develop a skid.
Okay.
So usually you want to plastic wrap and put it in the fridge. It relaxes better.
It's a culinary school. I bet they have plastic wrap.
Yeah, I think so.
We could get you some if you want.
Just,
You're good with the towel?
it should be fine.
Okay, we're going rustic today, ladies and
It
gentlemen.
should be fine.
We're going rustic.
Just want to clean up. Not too much of a mess except on my hands, so didn't do too bad here. Perfect. Now we're going to get back to our sauce.
Okay. Kind of
Hopefully.
slowly, quietly bubbling away in the corners
Yeah.
with its cream. So while we're having this very serious discussion about pasta and the ethos of making it, you're spooning a sauce into a blender.
Yes.
Let's not miss that fact.
A very important detail here.
Yeah.
So
you're going to buzz that up, I'm presuming.
I am. So this is where, all my flavors are coming together. It's simmering. I'm going to go ahead and puree this so I can get into another pot to continue simmering
Okay.
while I roll up my pasta. But I mean, this is it's super not complicated. We made the dough. We have pasta now. We're making our sauce, and our protein is raw tuna, and we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get this going. That looks great.
So in the American tradition of home cooking, people make their own bread. A lot of people make their own bread. That was a big thing during the pandemic. Enough Americans know how to make their own salad dressing, right? They'll
Yes.
do, little oil, little balsamic, little lemon juice, salt, pepper, shake it up, we're good. Or add in a cream or something. Insert other things. People can make a roast chicken, people can, whatever. Why do you think more people don't make pasta fresh when it's so cheap and it's real? I mean, this was quick. This was really quick.
Yes.
And it's sort of, I'm not talking about the high quality you make, but it's also, it's kind of hard to mess up in a way,
Yep. Yep.
Like it might not be the best pasta you've ever made, but it's still edible. It's not like you ruined dinner.
There is, there's a million recipes, first of all. There's, my grandma, not my grandma, but, some Italians can say, my grandma made it this way, my grandma wrote it down this way. And
Yeah,
so
but it's
there's
the same
different
it's the same
versions.
for bread. It's
For
the same
bread.
for, yeah.
But pasta making is definitely, and I can't stress this enough, not a science. Bread making is a science. I've had cooks come up to me where I've given them the recipe and they're like, I followed it exactly. It's too wet. The recipe's wrong.
With bread.
With pasta.
With pasta.
And you kind of say, well, it's not. You just have
Yeah.
to feel it out, and that takes experience. And it's kind of intimidating to make pasta. Maybe that's why it hasn't caught on. And then some of the shapes of pasta require an actual machine to roll them out. So,
Yeah. Huh, okay.
but it's definitely a feel, not something you can get from a cookbook, I think.
So it's true, bread's got a science, and pasta is, as you're arguing, more intuitive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Definitely.
That makes sense.
And it's not, I don't want pasta to fall into that category because it's not a trend. It's not a fad. It's not something, if you're going to make pasta and learn it.
You know what the
gotta-
sharper image to start making pasta making machines for $400 you can get for Christmas?
$400 for a pasta.
Like
machine.
they have the bread making machines where
Yeah.
you just throw in the ingredients, then leave it for a day and a half, which
Yeah.
is weird, by the way.
I mean, they sell some for pasta too.
They do?
Yeah.
Oh.
You could just throw in your flour, your eggs, but where's the love in that?
Right.
So this is the last of it. Maybe in 2 batches, we probably got it in there all the way.
I think so. I want to pour those last little bits in with you.
You sure?
Yeah, I do. I want to get a towel, and we're going to team effort this because or I'll do it. There's no way we're leaving that good flavor. I couldn't sleep at night, Carolina.
God, can I just take you home and
No.
cook all day long?
No, my wife would. Probably wouldn't call for weeks, actually, is the truth. So yes, you probably can. Just send money, we'll be good.
Right, send the pasta you make.
Yeah.
All right, this is the last bit.
So if you don't have a Vitamix or a RoboCoupe, you can
Yes.
do this with a fork. It'll just take a lot longer.
It'll take a lot longer. And it won't be as smooth, but you'll still get the flavors.
Yeah. But any blender would work.
Yeah.
This isn't dense
Yeah.
stuff. Wow, look at the
The color.
Like color, but I can't, like the coffee people call, like what is it on the top after
like the frothy.
The frothy, yeah.
That's the tomato froth.
Yeah.
That's how you know you've got seasonal tomato. I mean,
That's legit.
This is beautiful.
So, the unveiling of the black squidding pasta. Still black.
Still black.
Still not dry, doesn't have a skin,
No.
right? Though I kind of wanted to see what a skin would look like, but I don't want that to happen now.
No, because then, yeah, we'd have to trim it off. It wouldn't be good. So now I push into it. There's not much give. My fingerprints are still in there, so I know it's nice and relaxed. And now we're ready to roll this out. So
it almost is bread, because these are similar things you do with a dough.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like they grew up in the same house. One went out this door, the other went out this door.
Yeah. Yeah, almost same base.
Sure. Yep.
Same level of, and
Right.
it's definitely artisanal. It's something that you just can't, attempt the first time and you're going to get it right. Dust my board.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Dust my pasta.
Okay.
Flatten it out with my hand. And this you can do with the rolling pin, or you can do with one of these pasta rollers, which is perfect. I'm going to open it up to the widest and start feeding it through.
And you're just going to keep doing that?
Actually, no.
Really?
So you see how it's kind of
Looks
not
like
smooth.
Yeah.
You want to do a book fold. And by
Okay.
book fold, I mean like this.
Okay.
And we want to do that 3 times. Now there's a folded edge on here, which we're not going to feed it in this way. We're going to feed in the open edge. And that makes sure that there's no air bubbles caught in there.
Oh, that makes sense.
But again, flattening it out with your hand. And the reason we do this, you want to get all of the pasta even, or else you'll have some weak points, and that's not good. It'll start breaking on you.
So before the pasta roller was invented, this is all rolling pin work.
All rolling pin.
Yeah.
All rolling pin. This is where you developed your muscle. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of work. It does tear. If you're not careful and you don't get a consistently smooth sheet like you do with this machine, but it's all in practice. So dust again, and then we do the book fold. We do this book fold 3 times.
This looks like a hunk of tire that flies off a semi on the freeway. Sorry to keep bringing it down, but
You're going to love this flavor. It's good. It really is delicious. You see how smooth it is now?
I do.
And how consistent it is?
Yeah.
Feed it one more time. And then my last book fold, and then we can start making it thinner. So pretty much I've stayed at the widest setting this whole time.
So this whole exercise is just get the air bubbles out.
Get the air bubbles out and create a smooth consistency. So now it's even, where it wasn't before.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Same thickness.
Uh-huh.
So my last book fold, press it down, and then we can start kind of thinning it out. There we go.
I just had a quick memory while you're making this pasta. I filmed in New York with Michael White in like long time ago,
Jeez.
2011, 2011.
Nice.
And
Nice.
we're in the basement of Teresi, named after his mentor. And who was making pasta there, the pasta station? Mexican woman. And he's like, and I can't remember her name right now, but if, such and such quits, the restaurant closes. Like,
Yeah.
she's my iron.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had, when we were working with Bill Kim, he had a Mexican lady making her dumplings. And she made all the dumplings for the restaurant. And who would have thought? Mexican lady making these Korean dumplings. And if she left, I don't know what we would do. Nobody can make them as good as her.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm at setting number 4. And if I was making raviolis, you want to get it as thin as, where you can see the newspaper underneath it. But I'm not going that thin. I actually want it maybe this thick. And this is beautiful.
That is beautiful.
One nice long sheet. It doesn't matter that it's white, because once I drop it in the water, this white's going to go away and it's going to be vibrant, black, beautiful pasta sheet. And this attachment comes with 2 different sizes. I'm going to pick my wider one if I can get the handle in here. Okay, perfect.
So the little squid that gave that ink had no idea it would have such marvelous
Right, but I mean,
levels of execution applied to it.
no. But, it, it gave its life for a good cause. So. There we go.
Yeah. That's cool. Wait, don't. Let me just. Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Long strands of pasta. Now it's pasta. Beautiful pasta.
Now it's pasta.
Gotta dust my counter a little bit. Dust the pasta.
If I were doing this, there would be pasta on the floor. It'd be falling off my fingers.
All right, so now we're ready to put this together.
So you're going to put it in the water.
I'm gonna put it in the water, boiling water for sure. And now the salt. So this is where I kind of disagree with the notion that it should taste like seawater. If you've been in the sea, it's too salty.
Yeah.
So you want to put about a handful, like you said, of salt per pound that you're cooking of pasta.
Oh, that's
or
a
else
good.
there's a chance that you can oversalt this pasta water and your pasta is almost inedible. But I'm going to drop it. This should take about 2.5 to 3 minutes. My sauce is done.
So this super fancy pasta dealio
Yes.
is only because you want to keep reusing the water. But
Yeah.
if you're cooking at home, you could just pour it into the pot and then dump it out with the water, yeah?
Not exactly. You
Okay.
don't ever want to dump out pasta water because it is your glue.
Yeah.
So you want to
Okay.
keep a little bit of that pasta water, but then get rid of the rest, yeah. So that'll help your pasta stick to your sauce, or vice versa.
But what if you're not cooking pasta for another 9 days? I know this is unbelievable to you, but
Yeah. What do you mean you don't have pasta for 9
yeah.
days?
Can you refrigerate that water?
Yes, you can. And it only lasts for 2 days, so you don't want to go past the 2 days or else it starts going bad.
But if you chill it down, refrigerate it that night, and then you cook pasta again. Let's say you save a quarter of the pasta water,
Yeah.
and then you add that in 9 days later and some fresh water, you got your glue going.
Yeah, absolutely, you can. And then you can also use it for other things where you want to get the sauce to stick to rice, where you want it to get it to stick to meat. It doesn't have much flavor, but it'll act as your glue for sure.
So it's like a working person's cornstarch.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
All right, so ladling a little sauce.
A little sauce. So the trick here, and this is the dish that won the competition, mind you. So
What, now you tell me?
yeah. So I'm going to present it kind of
You're
in,
like the queen of the fast fake. Like, oh, and by the way, this is the competition dish.
So this will be a little bit of sauce on the bottom
Okay.
for presentation purposes.
I'm going to move this really elegant looking Vitamix.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, just get that out of the way. We don't need it anymore, do we?
Nope, I think
Okay.
we're done.
We're not mixing any more vitamins.
No more. So I have my pasta going. Maybe 1 more minute. And the trick is, I'm going to scoop one of these out. I don't want
Are
to
you?
break it, but you want to make sure. Do you want to taste?
Yeah.
This might be hot. You want to make sure it still has a bite, and it does.
It does.
It's perfect right now.
Tastes like chicken.
Yeah.
Kidding.
Chicken of the sea.
No.
A little bit of that pasta water. I don't want to drain it out completely.
Oh, look at you. Okay.
Give it a shake
So you're going to toss it in the sauce then?
with just a little bit. I don't want to lose that black color.
No.
And the trick is to making, spaghetti or any long pasta look like restaurant quality is you want to take a ladle, kind of spoon it into your ladle.
This is the move.
This is the move.
Wow. Twist it all up and then
Twist it all off.
do a fancy pants California cuisine
And
drop
then-
in the middle and pile it up.
Transfer.
Oh, wow. Look at you, good old Jeremiah Tower.
Shimmy it off of your fork here.
Uh-huh.
Perfect. And
Actually,
then-
that's a Jonathan Waxman move. He's the one that piled
really?
it up. Yeah. Yeah. And then he brought it to New York and everyone went, wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. And then we're going to do the tuna. So we have raw tuna we cut into cubes, maybe 1 by 1 inch cubes. Tuna loin. You want to cut any sinew off of it. Beautiful pieces.
They are.
Raw tuna is so fresh.
Yeah.
And now we're going to bring our gremolata ingredients. So gremolata is a seasoning, you could say, to any meats, seafood. It's equal parts of lemon zest, parsley.
Finely chopped. That's
Super
beyond
finely chopped,
tabbouleh chopped.
and garlic.
And garlic.
We're going to toss all of these together.
No oils, just toss it fresh.
Just toss it fresh. And no salt. And you can smell, it's just
Yeah, you can. I can. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, because salt would make the tuna seize up,
exactly.
and oil would coat it so the stuff doesn't stick.
Exactly. I only like adding the oil once we are doing the final touches with a little bit of sea salt as well.
Sure.
But that's right on top. It's not mixed in. So then we're going to get a spoon. Spoon it right on top.
So is this the dish that smelled like America?
This is the dish that smelled like America. And I don't understand why.
I don't either, actually. Now
Maybe
that
it's the smell of cream.
I've been to America, and now that I smell this dish, I don't get it either. But
to Italians, I guess it smells like
yeah,
America.
right, exactly. Yeah.
So this is a beautiful,
Mickey Mouse, John Wayne. You know.
beautiful ingredient. So batarga is fish roe that has been pressed, as you can see here, and it's amazing.
Oh, I get it.
And you can eat it by slicing it really thin, but I like to shave it right on top of this whole dish.
Fish roe from what kind of fish?
From trout.
Trout.
And usually when you grate it, you don't need to garnish with salt anymore because,
Yeah.
I mean, it smells amazing. So we're gonna go ahead and just finish it off with this. All over the whole thing. And
So
even
maybe
if
like,
chunks come off.
yeah, like a tablespoon in total?
I would say maybe 2.
2?
I mean, you want it to coat everything.
Oh.
And that's it. That's the dish. That's the dish that won the competition.
Boom, right here.
No foams, no smears, no fuss. Just straight from the sea.
This is beautiful. That is, wow, chef.
Thank you.
That's really beautiful.
you.
Yeah. Thanks for cooking here at the Madison College Chef Demo Series presented by Volrath.
Thanks for having me.
And
I
with-
really enjoyed this.
Yeah, and me talking in your ear.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.